other than that, I mean, there hasn't really been too much damage done to Israel with these attacks. Hasn't really been like an entire shock and awe type thing like we saw when Russia first invaded Ukraine, where they were shooting like hundreds and hundreds of military targets. It's nothing like that. It does seem like the air defenses have actually intercepted most of these missiles.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So we'll see how this. I kind of have a sneaking suspicion that not much is actually going to happen to Israel. In terms of how much damage it incurs.
I think the
Um,
I think the
yeah.
Iranians sort of underestimated how willing, basically the American allies in the Middle East were going to, how willing they were to help out, because basically most of these missiles were shot down in Jordan. So
Mm,
they were shot down in Jordan either by the Jordanese air defenses or by American air assets, either in the Red Sea or in Jordan themselves, because America has military bases there, of course.
mm.
So I think the Iranians are actually underestimated how willing Jordan and America were to actually intervene to protect Israel at this case, because well over half of these missiles and drones were shot down before they even got close to Israel.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, to that, I mean, there's still this idea hanging around, though it may be, hanging by a few mere threads, that Iran is this pariah state that is a rebel and is not coming to the table. Of course, it's a lot more complex than that, but yeah, I mean, the narratives here are pretty important, and I think this will I mean, because of course, what has been happening in Gaza up until
Oh,
the
it's
point of
horrible, of
Rafah
course.
is horrible, yeah. But this somehow, to some people, gives them the legitimacy they need to continue on the Greater Israel Project. Really, is what this looks like. They want to mount this offensive that was done to them.
Yeah.
They want to make it out to be, or start this out, to really begin building that. We know the Israelis have wanted war with Iran for a very long time. They even made like Call of Duty games of US invading
Yeah,
Iran. Now, mm,
I mean, it's sort of silly, really. I mean,
the
People,
propaganda
it's always
ridiculous.
just propaganda. But, I mean, people like the I guess you'd say like the MAGA communists or whatever you want to call them, the
Oh,
Nazbols. They're talking
yeah.
about how like Iran's like this great military power and it was
Oh,
going to blow out Israel. It's going to be a big pile of dust. The attack happens. It's basically like barely anything was hit. Maybe one military base was hit by a couple drones, and it's unknown what damage was actually caused. No
mm.
reports of fatalities except like one 10-year-old child. So it's been a
Got
bit,
shrapnel or something.
yeah,
Yeah.
shrapnel hit a 10-year-old child. So one fatality
Mm.
confirmed. I mean, maybe there will be more. Maybe there will be damage to a military base, but this Iranian strike basically ended up doing close to nothing, except
Close enough.
basically give America more cause to give more and more money to Israel and
Yeah.
potentially escalate against Iran. So,
Yeah, yeah. And this
I,
is what I was really fearful of. I did not want this to happen. I didn't want Iran to respond because, this would get the United States and the West involved at a time when they should really be supporting Ukraine, not Israel. But look, this is how it's happened. So now it's just,
it at
yeah, we
least
just,
makes more
mm,
geopolitical sense for America to support Ukraine. I mean, Israel basically gives nothing to any country that supports it.
mm,
It's a black hole of like
yeah, yeah.
political and military support, and you don't get anything from it.
Mm,
And you're
mm,
going to see this rhetoric in the next month or so. You
mm,
expect all this talk about the aid, or no one's going to give a crap about the aid for at least a month. And in this
mm.
time, I mean, Israel's going to be able to cause, like, basically, like, do unfettered genocide against the Gazans while
Yeah.
crying over that they're a victim because Iran shot a bunch of missiles at them, which is sort of true. Iran did shoot a bunch of missiles at them. So
But yeah.
expect Israel to just go to like overkill, crazy, bloodthirster,
Mm,
like full-on genocide against the
yeah.
Gazans, and expect
Mm,
like warlike rhetoric to escalate against Iran, and you might even see get to the point where you could even have like American no-fly zones over Iran or something, and like that's
y-
not unforeseeable in the near future. So you may actually have America get directly involved with this conflict now.
Oh yeah, definitely. And I think this is exactly the way the Israelis want it to play out. That's exactly what they want. They've been wanting this for a very long time. I think they've even tried stints like this before, very provocative towards Iran. Iran has, to my knowledge, from what I've seen, they have been very kind of patient and not really, tried to be very withdrawn and reserved
Yeah.
in what they do. But Israel just goes around, slapping everyone in the face. So
Well,
this is
that's the thing. At the
yeah.
same time, like it was a massive escalation from Iran, but you can see why they did it because
Oh,
their
oh,
embassy was bombed. Like that's just
oh
like
my God!
it's
I mean,
like
that is just yeah.
it's like just barbarism, and it's nothing but
Mm,
non-stop escalations, and you can only expect it to escalate more. And no European, no white nations, no Europeans, no European people, no American Europeans, no one's going to benefit from this except Israel themselves. Like they're the
mm,
only ones that's going to keep benefiting from these escalations because it brings more and more of their rivals into conflict. And
mm,
we may get to the point within the next like 2 to 3 weeks, if America starts getting involved, if the UK starts getting involved,
yeah.
uh,
Mm.
you're going to have like literal like you know Goyim dying for Israel. Like the meme will become real.
Yeah, yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, Iran right now is I mean, like Gaza was enough of a flashpoint, but now, if it starts with Iran, then that really will be the flashpoint. I can't see how that won't bring Russia and China into the equation, um, and because they really want to delegitimize the United States as the prime hegemon of the world and say that it's this immoral beast. Destroying everything, and that's only because it's being led by the nose by Israel. So that's the real problem right now. Is we've got to figure out. You just if there are any Christians, I mean, just pray for the leaders in the U.S. and the U.K. that they suddenly have you know,
The
they
escalations
suddenly grow a
cease. Yeah.
conscience. Yeah, some sense. Yeah, and they suddenly grow a conscience, and they suddenly, just work very quickly to stop this insane agenda, which I liken to a Jewish end times agenda that they're really trying to recreate or create Gog and Magog, which is this end times agenda that they want to play out on their terms. That I mean, basically, you can find rabbis all over the internet saying, yeah, we're gonna set it up basically, and then have everybody kill each other, and then we will remain supreme. And by the way, I mean that's more foreseeable than people think. I mean, it looks like, I mean, we're at the Israel is at the border of Rafah right now. I mean,
I mean,
if they get this,
they've been itching to basically
mm,
genocide the Gazans that are left in Rafah for like the last 2 months, and the America's
mm,
been holding them back. I mean, are they going to
yeah,
keep holding them back now?
yeah,
Like
yeah,
probably not. Like I
mm,
expect the genocide to go into full swing, and
yeah,
expect all the people that do when they flee Gaza, where are they going to
mm,
go? Israel's just going to ship them right to Europe. They're going to send them right to like Greece and Italy.
mm,
Go, oh, here you go, Goyim. Here's your new friends. Here's like
mm,
a bunch of
mm,
angry Arabs that have been bombed for the last
yeah,
like year. Here's your
mm,
new buddies. Remember to welcome more refugees.
yeah, yeah.
It's your duty, Goyim.
Which is exactly what they do. Israel being a formerly, originally Soviet kind of socialist state, does the exact same thing that Putin does, where he sends. I mean, Israelis have done this, I think, far more, but yeah, they basically direct these migrant flows to Europe,
Yeah, as we
and
saw
this.
in
Mm,
2021 with like Lukashenko and Putin importing like literal Syrians and Afghans, sending
mm,
them to
mm,
Belarus and go, oh, just cross the border to Europe. You'll get
mm.
free money. It's fine.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, I like this saying. They said, the 2%, you know, can't dominate the 98% if the 98% unite against the 2%. And that may sound like a Wall Street liberal thing, but I think it's quite true. I mean, we somehow, just like with all the Gaza protests we've been seeing, I think this really just says it all. We really, regardless of whoever anyone is, we just need to try and pressure local council people or whatever to really disavow what Israel is doing, because this is really bad. Like, this is potentially something really,
Yeah.
really serious. So, um, yeah, but
Yeah. Jeff in chat says Iran has Hezbollah. They could do more damage. Doesn't Iran have S-400s? I mean, S-400's an okay air defense system, but it's not going to be able to stand against like two or three American like aircraft like strike carrier groups. Like it's pretty much impossible. Like no,
mm,
bit like
yeah,
pretty much the only country that could stand against that is like maybe China.
mm,
But if
mm,
you do that, like the Iran is screwed. Like three aircraft carrier groups plus their air assets in Iraq and Jordan and Saudi Arabia. I mean,
mm,
there could be casualties. I mean, there is a good chance that some American jets could get shot down, or a cruise missile might get through like the destroyer's missile shields and maybe hit a carrier. If that happens, you're sort of screwed. Iran's even sort of more screwed if they do end up hitting an aircraft carrier. But you sort of have to be a bit crazy to think that Iran and their a couple batteries of S-400s could stop three U.S. carrier strike groups plus all the U.S. air assets in Saudi Arabia, Iraq, and Jordan. It's pretty no one could stand up against that. It's impossible.
yeah. But yeah, maybe with I don't know if
Jeff says, I'm sure,
yeah,
but I hope America doesn't
mm,
get involved. Well, that's the thing. Now there's a
yeah,
chance America can get involved. And if that happens, we're all
mm,
screwed.
yeah. They've been frothing at the mouth to get it around for a long time.
Oh, there's been factions that have been wanted like a war with Iran for literally like 3 decades, and now they've
Yeah,
got a
yeah,
golden opportunity to do it.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, Lindsey Graham and all those types, Bolton.
Well, yeah, I mean,
Yeah. Mm,
I don't know if I have any of their tweets on the
mm,
ready to
oh,
go, but you saw some of them earlier today. I'm sure we're all like looking at Twitter and like 4chan and stuff today.
mm,
I mean, there's literal like I think even like like a former what's his name like Paul, not Paul Gossier. It's
uh-huh.
Paul something. He's like a former congressman. He's like, an attack on Israel is an attack on America. And
Yeah,
you've got
yeah.
like Marjorie Taylor Greene going like, this is the worst attack on Israel ever. Iran needs to be punished.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I'm just looking at his Twitter now. So yeah, he's basically
If you have any good tweets, just post them in the chat here and I can share them. I mean, at the moment, I'm just
mm,
looking at the open. Now, maybe we should go through some of this, like the actual timeline of what happened. We sort of gave our hot takes.
mm,
Um,
mm. But
so
yeah,
we
I
could have
I,
a
I
timeline
want
of
to
what
mention
happened.
one thing. Sorry to interrupt. That if yeah, Israel gains Rafah as well. I mean, there's not really much to really contest them after that. They'll still have the United States. They'll still have the West. And Arab Muslim nations by their side, and then what? Then they can pretty much continue on with their imperial aims. So I mean, it's kind of crunch time for them right now. But I don't know like what's gonna. I mean, hopefully something happens. But yeah, it's just the broad 3,000 foot view, geopolitical view. It's not looking good. But who knows? I mean, a lot more people are more awake than ever before, and internal politics in America is changing. So with a lot less, especially young
Yeah.
conservatives. Yeah, I think it was
Well, I
like
mean,
the.
you're already seeing it.
Mm,
You're seeing people say on Twitter and wherever, going like, "I don't want to die for Israel." An attack on Israel is literally not an attack on America. It's not our problem. So you have to hope like heads like that prevail,
mm, mm,
and like America doesn't end up sending three carrier strike groups to Iran and turn the region into like an absolute like absolute bomb the like country to absolute smithereens and
yeah,
cause even more problems. Like the Middle East will be in the worst state it's like been since the Iraq
exactly.
War. Like we
Yeah,
definitely don't want that.
no,
Like
no,
that how
certainly
does
not.
that benefit how does that benefit Europeans? How does that benefit New Zealanders? How does that
Mm,
benefit America? How does that benefit anyone except Israel? Like that's the
and
thing.
then China can arise as the prime hegemon, just sitting there, sitting pretty, just building up their forces, and then when America's weakened enough, they can assume control, and perhaps Russia too. So it's yeah, this is yeah, it's heartening to see that a lot of young people are yeah, that this is so this was a survey by Brookings, a survey commissioned by the University of for North Carolina at Pembroke, researchers found that a poll found a dramatic shift in attitudes between 2018 and 2021. Support for Israel among young evangelicals dropped from 75% to 34%, which is really
That's a really
significant.
good one. That's a pretty good. That's
It's
like a pretty decent drop.
And especially considering that it's evangelicals that are make up the bulk of Christian Zionism, which is where they get their base of support. Mainly the older generation of Christian Zionists, but it's good to see that that the young ones are actually like, nah, screw this. What do we get from this? So that is heartening. So that's the positive side, is that they're so psychotic that of course this is turning everybody off. So. Yeah, but anyway, the it's yeah, yeah. Hmm. Have you got anything up there, or all right?
I was just going to do a timeline if you wanted to, but I'm sure. I mean, I bet like most of the people have already looked at this. I mean, it's what
Mm,
we've
mm,
been doing all day is just been looking at what's actually happening.
yeah,
I mean, yeah,
absolutely.
Iran launched like several dozen cruise missiles and drones, and most of them were shot down. And now people are wanting to see what the Israeli and American response is going to be, if any.
Mm,
Hopefully, it's like, yeah, hopefully it's diplomatic.
mm,
Hopefully, we don't end up with Iran getting bombed. Like shock and we
yeah.
don't really want shock and awe happening in Tehran. That would be a disaster.
Mm,
It doesn't
yeah.
benefit anyone except Israel. So
Mm,
let's
mm,
not do that. But we'll see what
yeah.
happens.
Another thing, another angle to consider in all of this is that I think it was Rishi Sunak just came out today saying that in Britain that if you eat meat, will imprison you.
What?
I was talking about that today, and of course that comes at this time, and it's also something that we have to be cognizant of wherever you are in the Western world, that these wars and these escalations of wars only serve to endanger us more to tyrannical governments with authoritarian aims. So, I mean, this is the case, just like with the Patriot Act, and saw how many of Americans' rights, went down the drain, and how that permeated across the Western realm. So, things like this.
Apparently, I'm going to try
Mm,
and find it. Apparently, Biden just did a speech, like literally
okay.
as we were talking.
Oh,
So
yeah,
see if I can
sweet,
find it, see what he actually says.
sweet.
Let's go on YouTube. Joe, sorry, not Joe. Jeff says America wants to de-escalate. I mean, they always have that rhetoric, though. I mean, I'm sure when the Iraq War happened, they said they wanted to de-escalate, but that obviously didn't happen, did it?
Mm, mm. Yeah, yeah,
Last
no,
hour.
certainly not. Mm,
Has Biden done a speech? Maybe he hasn't. I thought he might have.
mm. Yeah, I think he
It's like a
is.
developing story, so we'll see what actually happens with this. I mean, Biden literally, as we were starting the show, just finished having a conference call with Netanyahu that lasted about an hour. So
Mm, mm.
this
Yeah,
is pretty much a
mm,
developing story. So we don't know what's happening at this point in time.
mm,
So
mm,
this is according to CNN.
mm.
Joe Biden says he spoke to Netanyahu just moments ago. He reaffirms America's ironclad commitment to Israel, and he
Yeah.
told them that Israelis demonstrated a remarkable capacity to defense against and defeat an unprecedented attack.
Mm, mm,
He added that Israel sent a clear message to its foes that it cannot threaten the security of Israel. So that's sort of like a nothing. We'll see what happens there.
mm,
Biden's concluded his statement saying he will convene with the G leaders summit on Sunday to coordinate a diplomatic response to Iran's attack. Biden says the US has not seen attack on its facilities. Well, I mean, that's good that Iran didn't do that, but
mm.
that would
Yeah, yeah,
have
yeah.
been a
That would
bad
be.
idea.
Yeah,
Remains
that would have
vigilant to
been
all
fun.
threats. We will not hesitate to take necessary actions to protect our people. So we'll see what happens if they're going to convene tomorrow with G7. Uh,
Mm,
really, I guess if it's not a super swift response, I mean, it's gonna be better if they wait,
yeah.
if they let like heads cool down. Hopefully, won't end up with strikes in Iran.
Mm,
But
mm,
I guess it's actually sort of good. Like if Israel didn't manage to like shoot down a lot of these missiles and there was like massive casualties, it would have honestly been a lot worse. You would have had a much more likelihood that America would have got involved. So
Mm,
if you had
mm,
like all these like weirdos like Jason, whatever his name is,
yeah,
Crinkle,
Jackson Hinkle.
Jackson
Hinkle.
Hinkle. He
Yeah.
was like calling for like the mass just like bombing of Israel and like turning it to dust. Like, could you imagine if that actually happened?
Yeah,
Like,
I don't know. Yeah, I actually almost can't imagine what would happen. But a lot of them were actually very yeah, full of a lot of fear. They like a lot of them in days prior to this attack, they were making one-way trips to the United States, and during the attack, a lot of them had actually gapped it to like the Gaza Hills to watch, and
yeah,
yeah, I mean, a lot of them otherwise were just they were just sitting there ready to get cooked. There wasn't much that they could do. There's yeah, in panic mode. So that would have been quite scary for them. Um, but yeah, it's we'll have to pay, and this is a good moral is that we in the WN or yeah the nationals community just need to get very we need to wise up when it comes to intelligence matters and try and see what we can glean from what is released in terms of intelligence centers and try go with that because that's where all the real thing there's so much BS and nonsense from people like Hinkle and quite frankly from and Syrian Girl and quite frankly from a lot of people but yeah
yeah. I mean,
we
they
need
just want
to,
like they don't care about the consequences. They don't think like, oh,
mm,
if there is a mass strike in Israel and 10,000 people get killed in Israel or something,
mm,
then
mm,
America basically will be borderline obliged to get
yeah well
Like that, how does that
yeah.
benefit anyone?
Yeah, exactly. It's so weird. It's like their whole thing is if something like that were to happen, it's always making the US, no matter what the US does, it's always the evil great Satan and nothing that the US can do is redeemable to those people. It's always but whatever Putin does is completely awesome and great. And
Uh,
so but yeah, so that's kind of
so there's
yeah.
this. Apparently, this is a Hezbollah aligned news outlet. Apparently said that 15 missiles struck the airbase. I don't think that's true, but I mean
Mm,
some hit the airbase, and they said there's been serious damage to the Israeli Air Force.
mm,
Don't know if that's true. I'm going to wait till the photos come out. It doesn't really sound like that reliable of a source, but there were at
yeah.
least some missiles that hit this airbase. There's been reports of about at least three, I think, hit. And what damage they did is unknown at the moment.
Yeah, it seems very minimal. Yeah. I don't think they would. Yeah. It's something seems fishy about all of this on many different levels. I think this was almost almost seems kind of staged just from reading through it. It kind of
Yeah,
maybe that's
I
a
can
bit too
get
much.
that. I think that is probably a bit too much. I think Iran just underestimated how much better and well prepared uh,
Mm, probably
Iran,
that.
like
Yeah.
Israel was, and also American assets in Jordan and Iraq and the Red Sea. They were pretty much
Mm,
ready to go as soon as Iran struck. Yeah, like I said, most of these drones and missiles were shot down before they even got to Israel. So
yeah.
they're shot down by Americans and like Jordanians.
Mm, mm.
So
So it really depends on we heard that response from was it Netanyahu or the Likud cabinet where the what did they say, the senior Israeli official pledging an unprecedented response to Iran's attack and urging Israelis not to go to bed due to what is coming Tehran's way. Okay, I'll share that with you so you can put it up if you like.
yeah, well,
Did you want to talk about this now, or you want to go for
yeah, we'll
something else?
talk about this now.
Okay,
Uh,
okay,
yeah,
uh,
we do.
uh,
I mean, we've sort of talked about the American response, but there
yeah,
will probably, yeah. I mean, there is going to be an Israeli response as well.
mm.
Um,
Which is
I ex-
interesting because yeah, go.
I expect the Israeli response might be them, maybe they might provoke. They might end up actually like provoking Hezbollah. I wonder if they're going to just do strikes against like Hezbollah
Yeah,
and Iranian assets in Syria rather than
yeah,
attack Iranian proper. Maybe they will. Maybe they'll start bombing some like power stations in Iran again. Like
mm,
the
mm,
Israelis have a
yeah,
habit of doing over the last 2 decades.
Mm,
Maybe
mm,
they'll do some cruise missile attacks in Iran itself.
mm,
Unknown what will happen, but there will be an Israeli response. We actually sort of haven't really talked about that. Whether or not there's an
yeah,
American one, I mean, we hope there isn't because that's an escalation no one wants.
yeah,
But
yeah. Mm,
uh, who
mm.
knows if yeah, there probably will be an Israeli one, and it's unknown
Mm.
what it will be yet.
I think it's likely that, as you suggested, we will see like airstrikes from the Israeli Air Force and maybe even
Yeah,
missiles.
cruise
I
missile
don't know
strikes.
because yeah, because if you look at the IDF, their armies are like spent. I mean, they're all injured badly. They're all
Yeah,
in the hospital and they're all tired and they're all just worn out from this long offensive that, and they're all very demoralized. You
yeah.
know
I, I
that. I
was
mean.
I was
Mhm.
thinking that. I was thinking that before these strikes even happened. I'm like, if there is another attack with Hezbollah, because Hezbollah is, much more powerful than Hamas. I don't even know if the IDF could handle it. So I don't think they could
No,
handle a
no.
ground war
Mm,
against like
mm,
Lebanon. Their defense forces would just be too depleted.
yeah,
But I mean, they still have, considerably modern, not super large, but they do have a modern ground, air and missile force. So we're probably going to see something there.
yeah. I mean that. Yeah. So I think yeah. So as you say, airstrikes against, sort of what did you say? Power plants and
Power
other
plants, targets,
crucial
and more targets in Syria and maybe Lebanon.
critical
Yeah,
infrastructure.
maybe they're going to
Yeah.
attack infrastructure. Maybe
Mm.
they're going to try attack some military bases, but I'm not really sure.
Yeah, who knows if they'll go as hard out in Palestine. The thing is, the reason why I don't think they'll be as bloodthirsty in Palestine, although it's completely possible. I think that this people is completely psychotic. Um, but if they really were to go that hard, I mean, I don't know what would Russia and China do. What would their, the thing is that I don't actually think Russia and China is much of I of course believe that they are a part of the JNWO. So and there's a lot of, especially in Russia's case, there's a lot of evidence to back that up. Borel Lazar and Chabad Lubavitch
Yeah.
and the oligarchs, of course. There's like so many of them are Jayish. So yeah, that's the thing. But yeah, I mean, it's if they cripple Iran's economy, then that is.
I mean, Iran's economy is also not in the particularly best spot to begin with, to be fair.
Yeah. Yeah, it's already kind of crippled. So if they do that further, then basically just have you have Iran turned into a complete Afghanistan where you will have people popping out underneath rocks with AKs, I guess, or drones, and seems to be the next big thing. And yeah,
Oh, well, there
so
you go. Apparently, Biden said although whether this is true or not, who knows?
mm,
Biden says he will not partake in any offensive operations against Iran. So hopefully
interesting.
that's the case. Hopefully that's not just a bluff.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah, see, I just who know I hope yeah, hope that's the case, but who can trust this guy, they've said stuff like that before. All of them, you just can't take these people at their word, you
Yeah.
know? I mean, Putin said the same thing when he was entering into the Ukraine,
No, I mean,
with
literally, he was saying
peacekeeping.
to the day before before Russia invaded Ukraine, like the day before, like, oh no, we have no plans to invade Ukraine. It's all sensationalism from the West.
Yeah, and I think he did a similar thing during Sochi when he did Putin's Little Green Men, and but anyway, yeah, that's yeah, this is we'll just have to see. It's funny. I mean, he says this, but then they're talking about a huge response, and yeah, I don't know. This all seems really weird. So maybe yeah, they'll probably wait a while, but who knows when that will happen. I wonder what Putin is saying,
Oh,
or
I don't know. I don't honestly think that's that relevant, to be fair. I mean,
yeah,
Putin would have to be insane to get involved in this. Like, you'd have to be crazy to get involved
yeah,
in a scuffle between. America and Iran and Israel. Like, why would you want to get in the middle of that?
Yeah,
It's nearly
yeah.
that's pretty much just as bad as America. If Russia getting involved in the side of Iran, which I don't think they will do because they're pretty much occupied. They're pretty much occupied with their operations in Ukraine right now.
Mm.
If Russia got involved on the side of Iran, that's pretty much just as bad, if not worse, than America getting involved in the side of Israel.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. True. I mean, they're expending a lot of. I mean, Ukraine. It's pretty tough for the Ukrainians right now, but Russia's expending a lot of manpower and a lot of
Yeah,
equipment. I mean, it's another
it's
kind
an
of black
attrition
hole.
war. It's brutal for both sides. That's the nature
Mm,
of attritional warfare,
mm,
especially
mm,
the attacker. I mean, Russia's the attacker, so they're going to have more casualties. That's just the way attrition warfare works.
mm. Yeah. Yeah. No. Too right. Too right. Yeah. So I guess. Yeah. This. If they really do cripple a run like this, I guess they can continue to. Over time move forces into Iran, or I don't know. I don't know how long this project will take to roll out, but yeah, it's a tricky one. It's a tricky one because yeah, Iran is already economically crippled, and yeah, I wonder what Azerbaijan will be doing because they're of course are an ally of or Israel helped them during their invasion of Armenia,
Yeah,
and so I wonder if they will, help Israel with supplies and
I'm not
whatnot.
sure. I hadn't
Mm,
even thought
yeah,
about that really.
yeah. I guess it's not a big one, but yeah, you're beginning to see all these sorts of alliances sort of. I think Azerbaijan will probably be more on the side of Israel. I'm guessing because what does Iran have to offer? And but yeah, yeah, this is yeah, tricky. We'll just have to, and then of course the real predicament is how do we safeguard our freedoms and how do we make sure that's going to be the tough one. How is Israel going to, unless it's the draft? But I can think of many Americans who would rather go to prison than fight this war. You know,
I just think
because
if Kennedy said something, I just saw his
yeah,
profile pop up. I don't think he's actually said anything about it.
yeah, no, he
Probably for the best.
yeah, for the best for him, probably
Yeah.
to his benefit that yeah he doesn't say anything either way. But oh dear.
See what Joe
St-
Rogan. I don't know why they're all just showing up. I'll see if Joe
mm,
Rogan said anything.
yeah, let's have a browse. Let's see
Ah,
what
Joe
all.
Rogan hasn't posted.
Oh
See if Jordan
yeah,
Peterson has said anything.
yeah. Should
They
we
just
see what
keep.
Alex Jones is? Oh yeah,
I think Alex Jones has said something,
yeah. He
but
said a lot. Yeah.
he's not showing up though. Oh
Oh,
no, there he is. Alex Jones. He's up there.
he's on
He's
the Oh yeah,
broadcasting live. He's always broadcasting.
yeah,
What did Alex Jones say?
yeah.
Things are escalating extremely fast. We could end up in the wake of a full war. If Israel hits back hard against Iran, Russia may intervene. I think Russia would have to be crazy to do that, to be fair.
Mm,
Then
mm.
the US will strike and we'll be back to World War Three. I mean, that is the worst case scenario, but that's probably like not that likely. Because one,
Russia.
I don't
Yeah,
think
sorry.
Russia's going to get involved. Like that would have to
Russia
be.
is not going to contest Israel. They never have, and they never will. There's
Yeah,
far too much
exactly.
of a concentration of the pro-Jewish, pro-Israel first sentiment in the Kremlin and amongst the oligarchs. It's just not, you know, there's all kinds of deals that happen between Russia and Israel that we're just not privy to. I mean, these people that both Russia and both the Kremlin and Israel, they're they're literally criminal terrorist states. They do things in an underhanded way, and this is how it is. And that they are. I mean, Israel, even commanded Russia at one point to, stop arms sales to Iran of missiles and other advanced military equipment. So I mean, it's yeah, Russia's not. I mean, this is a thing that people have got to understand. It's. I mean, and I know probably a lot of you are bored to death with me and Hector saying this, but I mean, it's not just the United States that is a Zogabot country. At least the
Oh,
U.S. Yeah,
sorry. Sorry to interrupt, but
I'll just finish this. Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
at least the U.S. does have a measure of freedom that is, would you get into the details, is significantly greater than Russia. Despite what we've seen, Russians do not have any leeway in terms of their liberties in Russia. There's nowhere to move. You can't do anything. You can't even protest. But yeah, Russia is definitely a Zogbot. So this is sort of the pincer strategy that it looks like Israel has employed through flooding, both U.S. and Russian politics with, their assets basically,
Well, I
and
mean, people that say like Russia's going to save the West, it's like, buddy, like Jewish
ridiculous.
oligarchs looted the Russian state for like 30 years.
Mm,
Like, how
mm.
do you think this country is going to save the West?
And they're still doing it. I mean, they're selling off large mining rights to the Chinese, where they're just completely hoarding all of Russia's natural mineral resources. And I mean, they're just raping the country really, and Russians don't have any say in this at all. So I mean, this is what is going on, and
At
this is.
least, oh,
Mm.
sorry. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, no, go, go, go.
Oh, at least Alex Jones is being somewhat nuanced here because you got Jason Hinkle basically like, yeah, calling for like the complete destruction of Israel without thinking about the consequences. Alex Jones like, not good. Let's not have World War Three.
Yeah.
So at least Alex Jones is like more level-headed than Jason Hinkle.
as as amazing as that is to say, like, yeah, he's. I mean, yeah, yeah. So World War Three has never been closer. Yeah, yeah. But I mean, yeah. So I mean, basically, regarding this dynamic where you have Zogbots all over the show, despite what they may say, um, you know, it's basically Israel is free to move around the Middle East and remain uncontested so long as they have these intelligence assets in the United States and in Russia. So it's kind of up to people, and this is why Hector and I really stress, get involved in, become an elite person, become involved in these fields that wield a lot of power. You know, it might not be everybody's thing, but we need people going into, government, assuming high ranking roles there, going into the intelligence sector and things like this to try and steer this away from this, New World Order agenda, and the communists are their best friends. I mean, part of the way the Jews were so successful in this is through their communist lackeys that were seeded into U.S. Congress and local councils and so on and so forth. Well documented, the communist infiltration. I mean, communists are basically the perfect Shabos Goyim for the Jays and the JNWO. Yeah, so I mean, this is, I mean, what, like, because I mean, it's not going to be Biden that stops this. We know why. His family is the you know who's. His whole entire cabinet is the you know who's, and yeah, I mean, when Bibi Netanyahu basically asked him to, what was it? Not long ago, he said you're going to sell us these missiles and these armaments, and then Biden's response was to say, "Oh, you suck." He literally said like a teenager being denied his Game Boy or something like. He said that Bibi Netanyahu. I mean, this is like one of the most experienced. Long-standing politicians there is in the country, and he's just getting slapped around by Netanyahu. So this is the predicament. I mean, really, we know about Trump, and of course we've got the election coming up, but I mean that seems like a slightly better alternative. At least we get a you know something closer to an am first Western civilization first agenda than with Biden. At least he was able to galvanize, summon energy in America that way. And even if it was just a veneer, I think definitely America has changed as a result. Um, in fact, oh yeah, Donald, is Trump on Twitter?
I mean, he's on Twitter, but I don't know if he posts there. He still posts on whatever social.
Oh, right, yeah. That so his last post. Okay,
Yeah, I
yeah,
don't know
the
what
last. Mm,
Trump. I think Trump said like, "Oh, if I was in charge, this would have never happened." So I don't know.
yeah, basically just
Sort
that.
of something not really that substance, to be fair.
Yeah,
Um,
no,
well,
truth
anyways,
social. Yeah,
Jeff in chat says Alex Jones went from saying that Russia's an NWO country to saying he thinks Putin will fix all of our problems. Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
Yeah, no one should take Alex Jones too seriously. I mean, that's sort of true. You shouldn't take Alex Jones too seriously. The
No.
guy's basically like an entertainer, at the forefront. He's not really that serious of a political commentator.
Mm. Oh well, he has said like a lot of good stuff, but
Yeah, but then he
it's
says like stupid stuff. It's sort of like the definition of gatekeeping, right? You say some good stuff, then you say some like absolutely insane like nonsense.
you just have to. I do really credit Jones with his for a lot of stuff. I think he's done a lot of good, but yeah, the communist to conservative pipeline is very real. It's reared its ugly head more than ever before, with like
We're
Hinkle
mega
and
communists. Like they're literally
yeah.
called mega communists.
That's so stupid. It's like the exact opposite of yeah, what America was founded on. But yeah, it's yeah. Oh gosh, what was I gonna say? Um, yeah. Well, anyway, that's how it is. I mean, you basically just got to be discerning with these kinds of people, and he does. I think he does offer a lot of good stuff, a lot of good information, but at the same time, when you're involved in intelligence, when you're this public of a figure, um, it is there's only so much. Leeway you're allowed, and there's only so far you can go. And you know, I think there was some mention of some of Jones's products being some of the parts or the components and I don't know this, so maybe I shouldn't say it, but I heard rumor that some of the parts were from Israel and some of the components or something like that, and Ben Dot
Yeah,
Video.
I'm not sure.
Mm. Yeah, I don't know about that. Maybe I shouldn't have said that because I don't actually that hasn't been officiated, at least to me. But yeah, the yeah. Anyway, I don't want to bag anybody. Basically, you've just got to be discerning, and like even Nick Fuentes, like he calls himself he's like the leader supposedly of America First, but he yeah he has the same to from my perspective, this the same issue, which is, I mean, you could just say he's memeing, and probably that is true, but yeah, it's kind of if you understand how deep the communist subversion is in the West, and you've really looked into it, you'll see that it's actually a very serious problem, and this is why there's been such a tepid response to Ukraine. I mean, NATO, its original mission, but the reason why it was founded was to deter Russian Soviet aggression throughout the region, and well, the response has been nothing but tepid to Ukraine. So you'd think that they would jump at the chance to defend Ukraine, but yeah, this is just not the case. Angela Merkel is basically well, yeah, she is a communist, rebranded by the media as a liberal, and there's a lot of EU people who have these very weird connections, but and of course they serve.
Well, who was there was a prime minister of
Mm,
president chancellor of Germany before Merkel who literally ended up becoming the German president of Gazprom after he left office.
nah,
What was
nah,
his name
that's right.
again?
Yeah, his name escapes me right
Whoever
now.
the chancellor was before Merkel, he was a social democrat
Mm,
uh,
I,
prime
I rem-
chancellor for the mid to late
Was
90s.
it Gerhard Schröder?
Yeah, I think it may
Yeah.
have been Schroeder. He stopped. It's like what? How is this not like dual loyalty? As soon as
Mm,
he stops being chancellor, leaves office, he goes and works for Gazprom. It's like
yeah,
I
yeah.
wonder I wonder who he benefited when he was in office.
Yeah. That's exactly, and that's actually really concentrated problem in Germany, where like during the time when the Berlin Wall fell, you essentially had all of these Stasi agents flood over into West Germany, and put themselves in positions of power and other places as well. I think Putin himself even well, Putin was a Stasi. He worked there as well. So, but yeah, so it's a real problem, and this is why we can't really, because of what this conservative movement is. I mean, we have outright communists in the Democratic Party, and outright communism, and the so-called liberals across the Western world. But I mean, in the conservative movement, yeah, you have this weird strain of pro-communism, pro-Russia, and it's really, yeah, this is like kind of really keeping us from having, in my view, a really authentically pro-Western movement, really, geopolitically and at all other levels too. Yeah, there are certainly problems produced because of that. So, yeah, it's a tricky one. It's a tricky one, and yeah, hopefully people can become. I think a lot of people are becoming aware of it, because people just see how silly it all is, but and how this doesn't benefit anyone, and how one way or another this all kind of allows Israel to just run free throughout the Middle East. So yeah, which is what really needs to be solved. How are we going to reel this crazy government in, you know? Um, but yeah. Have you got anything else, Hector?
I mean, I think we've sort of said what we need to say about the strikes now, unless there's been any sort of developments come up in the next couple of minutes, but I don't really think so.
Mm,
Uh, yeah, I mean, yeah, just a defense secretary bragging that they shot down all these missiles before they even reached Israel. I mean, we sort of already knew that.
mm,
Uh,
mm,
I sort of said what needs to be said. We'll see if it escalates more.
mm.
At least the rhetoric from Biden is that America won't get involved in any offensive operations. Hopefully that holds up.
Yeah,
And we'll have to see what the Israeli response is.
because that's, yeah. Sorry, go ahead. Sorry, man.
I pretty much said what I said. So,
Yeah, I mean, another angle to look at it is, the elections, because if Biden does this, and I think Biden did mention this to Netanyahu as well, that if you continue in this fashion, this is going to hurt me gaining the presidency come November, and that's what he said. And so that's one thing to consider. If Biden allows this to go on, I mean, people will have a big problem, because Americans across the board, both liberal and conservative, are very tired of these wars, and that would just be too insane an escalation, if he wanted to remain in power. And I would guess Netanyahu would want Biden to remain in power, uh, because there's bad blood. Even though we've seen Trump shilling away on Truth Social for Israel as usual. I think that he was very angry that Netanyahu betrayed him in the way that he did last election, and despite everything he did, he didn't support
well,
him back for that.
we'll see. We'll see what
Yeah,
happens
yeah,
there.
yeah.
But yeah, that's pretty much all we had to say about that. I get the other story was this. There was unfortunately there was a terrorist attack in Australia. It was
Mm,
caused by like some brown guy. It was actually sort of bizarre.
mm,
Like the media reporting about this whole thing was bizarre. They refused to say who it was, and then they said it was like a Jew called like Benjamin Cohen, and then
mm.
they're saying now it's like a schizo Maltesean or something. Maltese like schizo. So
Yeah.
the reporting around this has been like shocking. But there's
Mm,
been like basically a mass stabbing terrorist attack in Australia where Maltesean, I mean, Maltese are basically Semitic anyway.
mm.
It's understandable why people mistook him for like a Jew and an Arab
Yeah, it is actually.
because they're all
Yeah,
Semitic, and Maltesans are actually sort of like a Semitic race as well. They're related very closely to the um, Phoenicians and Arabs, so they're
there
basically
you go.
Semitic. So
Yeah, but I thought that was really weird as well. Why did it take so long for them
It
to be
was it
able
was
to figure out?
bizarre. It was
Yeah.
bizarre. That was like the strangest thing about it. It was all this speculation. I mean, people obviously thought it was an Arab because I don't know. This is sort of
Mm,
like the you know modus operandi. A
mm,
brown Arab just like stabs a bunch of white people. It happened here in like New Lynn, so
mm.
people assumed it was the same thing. Then there was some media started reporting it was a Jew called Benjamin
Cohen, yeah,
Cohen,
yeah.
and
Mm,
then
mm,
now it comes out the guy was just like a schizo Maltesan. I
mm,
The whole media reporting is like the strangest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, and that's when you see stuff like that. That's how you know something fishy is going on, right? I mean, what? Why not just come out and say it? But yeah, there's something does not sound right. I mean, was it actually a
I know
was
that's
it
what
actually a
everyone's
man named Benjamin Cohen? I mean,
that's what everyone's thinking. It's like, was it actually Benjamin Cohen the actual person that did it? Does this other fella like Joe Blow Shlomo? Oh no, maybe not Shlomo. Joe actually exist?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I've seen on Twitter, what is it like? People oh, not Benjamin Amir, Cohen, are posting pictures of like a tattoo. Like apparently that I think people were basically saying that he doesn't have the same tattoo or something like that. But yeah, so Joel, I believe the latest update is Joel Couchy. Oh no, it was yeah, that was another thing. They said Joel Couchy, but his name now is Ash. Oh no,
Oh, what
someone
did the
else.
name change again? Wasn't
No,
Yeah, it was
no, no.
like
Sorry,
Joel's. It was like Joe Cottrell or some shit.
yeah, Joe. Joe. Yeah, Blair. It was Blair. No,
No,
I
no, I
should.
mean not Cottrell,
Yeah,
but it was like
yeah.
Cottrell or like Conch. I don't know, something started with a C.
Couchy. Yeah,
Couchy, Joe
yeah,
Couchy, and for some reason before that it was Benjamin Cohen.
yeah. That's right. So that's the yeah. It was So anyway, yeah, very weird, very strange. I can't seem to find where people were talking about the tattoo. Apparently there was a tattoo that they didn't see or something that he had that you know um that didn't exist on this guy or something like that. So yeah, I can't seem to find where those
I don't know if
posts
I
are,
can
but
show this on YouTube.
oh,
Oh,
what
there
is
he
it?
is.
Oh, okay.
This might get a strike on YouTube, but there he is, like dead. But yeah, so
Mm,
this is the Benjamin Cohen slash Joe Couch. What was it? Joe something.
Couchy.
Couchy. Joe Couchy
Yeah.
slash Benjamin Cohen. No, no,
Mm,
no one knows what his real identity is. And for
mm,
some
mm,
reason, it took the media like a full day to come up with the name, which is
yeah.
I was nuts. I'm like, why is this guy's name not coming out? Like
Mm, mm,
they say, like apparently he was known to police. There was all these reports. Oh, he's known to police. He's 40-year-old, known to police. But we're not going to
mm,
say who it is until
yeah.
24 hours later.
They even said on international news, Jewish extremist responsible for terror attack or something. So, uh, yeah, it's all very fishy. I don't know really what. I mean, terrible thing, but
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's a terrible thing. I mean, six people
yeah.
dead, several injured, including an infant. So like complete barbarism yet again.
Mm, mm, mm,
Now people are saying, yeah, he's a Maltese schizo.
mm. Yeah, yeah. It's weird. It's weird. This is I keep saying it. I know, but this is very fishy to me. I don't know who like I don't really want to say anything, but like we know that weird stuff has happened like this in the past before, and this might be the case. Because honestly, the guy looking at this guy, he looks very skinny, but the guy in the photo they released, yeah, he looks similar. But
He looks sort of skinny, to be fair.
yeah, okay, yeah, well, yeah, who knows? But yeah, it's yeah. I don't know about this one, guys. This seems
Well, I've
weird.
just never seen it change so much. Like, well, I mean, to be fair, it's like you're mistaken for an Arab, like Arab stabbing a bunch of people. Fair enough. Like that's sort of what everyone's going to think at first.
Mm,
Then
mm.
bizarrely it becomes Benjamin Cohen, and you've got like media sources reporting on it, and then they all get edited, and now he's Joe Cocci.
Yeah,
Strange, strange things going on.
Yeah, somehow yeah, looks a little bit. Yeah, what's this speculation brews over the identity of the Bondi attacker as police refuse to publish his name.
Yeah, well,
They
that's the thing. Why did the
yeah,
police even at the time? Like, I was like, when's this guy's name coming out? Like when
yeah,
this happened yesterday.
mm,
Like I've never
mm,
seen anything like it. I've never seen like people wait a whole day and then release the name when they go, "Oh, we know the guy, but we're not going to say his name in the
mm,
media, and the police aren't going to say his name."
yeah,
Very
yeah.
strange.
Yeah, yeah. Don't know what to make of it, but it's they use these. Maybe it didn't quite go to plan, and because they do use these events to try and gin up support for intervention in the Middle East, or they could just close the frickin' borders, but instead they use our tax dollars to bomb people in the Middle East, and it's like that just makes things worse. So this is the whole dynamic that they employed, and you know, it could be that this didn't go quite to plan. Maybe just speculation. Not saying anything, but yeah, yeah, yeah. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see with this develops in any way.
Yeah, well, I mean, all the media's saying now, though, I mean, now they can't stop talking about him after they refused to name him for 24 hours. Now they can't stop talking about the guy. How he's
Yeah.
got an interest in knives. He's been mentally ill since he's a teenager.
Mm. I mean that's
Utterly bizarre reporting. Like,
it should just be like, okay, he's check his wallet, check his ID, you
exactly.
know,
I was thinking,
like
like,
boom, that's who he is, that's yeah.
it was crazy. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, very and
I've
that's the
never
weird
seen this
thing.
before, where
Uh,
the media and the police refuse to name the guy, and then they name someone 24 hours
yeah.
later, and they can't stop talking about him.
Yeah. No, weird. I mean, maybe yeah, it is the case. I mean, we're aware of the prevailing narratives of our time. People might say, oh, they don't want to publish him in case he's a Muslim, or they don't want to publish him in case he's, a J, but
Well, I
a
mean,
Jew.
you
But
know that
like,
if he was like a white pro-white, they would have named this guy like within seconds.
yeah, well, if he was white,
Yeah, if
they
he was
would have.
white.
But yeah,
Well, they
exactly.
they
That's
probably weren't
kind of
sure because, like I said, Maltese are Semitic. They're a Semitic people. You can tell just by looking at them. They probably
yeah.
didn't know if this guy was like Arab or Jewish or what.
How do we frame this? It's got to be,
Yeah, yeah.
liberal friendly. Um, so yeah, um, yeah. Very, very strange. Very strange. We'll have to maybe keep tabs on that one and just see how it develops. Because yeah, even the guy doesn't like total like he looks similar, but I'm not sure if I don't know. To me, they look a little bit different, but that's just me speculating. That's just what I see. Does the chat think anything?
Jeff Michael says my boomer flatmate gambled on a Maltese casino website. They kept using his card to buy stuff on Temu. Well, there you go. There's the hot take from chat.
Yeah, beware of those Maltesers, I guess.
And then
Um,
Dr. Gree on YouTube says he's an Aussie looking bloke. He's not really that Aussie. You can tell he's definitely a Semitic looking guy.
mm,
He's definitely sort of brown.
mm,
Uh, probably said like Chowkey. Chowkey? Oh, the guy's last name. Yeah, I don't know how you pronounce it. I don't know. I don't know Maltese.
mm. Yeah. So hold on. This is. I'm on 4chan right now, and they've actually just um. Okay. Okay. Should I just share you the Chan link that I'm on,
Yeah, just
or
post the link and I'll bring it up.
yeah, and yeah, I'd share my screen with it. But I think this is what I was. If you go down the thread, this is kind of what I was talking about the tattoo, and yeah, there are people on 4chan are like disputing his
His identity.
identity. Yeah,
Well,
and
like I said, maybe it is this guy, maybe it isn't, but the whole
mm,
media behavior is unlike anything I've ever like seen before.
mm, yeah, because it's like usually within an hour or
Yeah, within an
something.
hour or two, they name the guy and they go, "Oh, this is the guy. He was known to police." Instead, they just go, "Oh, the guy's known to police, but we're not going to name him." Like,
Yeah,
why?
yeah. This could have been like something that was some weird thing that was foiled. We know this has happened in Australia before, but or that there are certain suspicious events that are just not answered. You know.
NZST Nat says, "How's it going, lads? Going good, mate.
Yeah.
Going good. All right,
Mm,
here's the 4chan post. Maybe it's real."
yeah. Yeah.
So
Well,
there's the guy. So people are saying it's not the same guy.
mm.
I don't
Could
know.
could you share it with me?
Oh
Maybe I
yeah,
can
yeah.
help
Share the
direct you.
tab.
Yeah.
So there's
Yeah.
the. This is the
There's,
guy in the media reporting. This is obviously his corpse after he'd been dealt with by police.
yeah.
People are
Yeah.
saying it's not the same guy.
If you go down, keep going down, and then you'll see a picture of a arm with a tattoo. Maybe go up a bit.
This one?
Yeah, yeah, maybe I think it's that one, and so there's this distinctive
Dragon
dragon
tattoo.
tattoo, which is interesting, by Joel Couchy, and that's him there. And then if you go down a bit more, you'll be able to see. If you keep going down, there's like a
This one?
picture of up a bit
Uh,
above the Australian face meme. Yeah, I think it's that one. Yeah.
no,
Okay. No, no,
no, that's the
not that
tattoo
one.
again.
Keep going. Oh yeah, I think it's this one. So
Wait,
we
is that
have
the same
some.
arm though? Like,
Yeah, true, true.
no, that's the wrong arm.
Yeah,
So
yeah, right. Yeah,
that's
uh,
his
yeah,
that's the wrong arm. Like,
yeah. That's his left arm there,
yeah,
and
there's
the
his
arm
left
there.
arm there. There's right arm. There's no
Uh,
tattoo there.
yeah,
Do they
yeah.
show? Wait, what the hell is
What
this?
the hell is this?
I don't know.
It's what yeah, yeah. I'll.
Is this
Sorry, I'll
guy? Why
check.
is he dressing like a black Israelite? Like, what's going on here?
I'll check ahead of this thread just to make sure there's no porn on this thread, so we
Yeah,
don't
that's
get.
probably a good point because it is
Yeah,
4chan.
I'm just looking at it now. I can't see any porn, so I think you're safe to go. There's no porn on this thread, so you can go. People are saying it looks like Mike Pinovich. That's entirely possible.
Like
Um,
Peter.
um,
Well, but this is
yeah,
Ben Cohen. This is who they said it was before. I mean, they do look sort of similar. I mean, the hairline might be different there.
yeah. Even this guy kind of doesn't
Yeah, it
really.
doesn't really even look like him either. I mean, this
Yeah,
tattoo's on the left arm, and they're showing the right arm here, so that obviously doesn't mean anything.
yeah. It doesn't look quite the same. Yeah,
Yeah, it's
yeah.
literally
No.
at the different arm. Like, if they show the left arm and there's no tattoo, that's pretty alarming.
Yeah. I mean,
No porn, right? Have you scrolled down?
yeah,
Is it
yeah, no,
safe?
no. I'll scroll again. Yeah, no pornography that I can see. Just some chick
Wait, this is
saying,
apparently
"I've."
the guy. The guy. Apparently, this coachy guy is also a male escort.
Oh,
So
well, there you go. That's interesting. And do you know why? Because that's
you have to be
usually how.
pretty. You have to be pretty mentally like unstable to become a male escort.
Oh, yeah, that too. I mean, that's pretty. Yeah, but that's how the kind of crime syndicates, and that's how intelligence communities. That's who they're interested in penetrating these like underground sex communities, right?
Yeah.
Or just sex communities that do this kind of stuff because these people are they've often lived a life of drugs and alcohol and
Oh,
bad
absolutely. I
childhoods
mean,
and mentally unstable. They're
that's that
they're more susceptible to
that's
this
the
kind of stuff.
homosexual
Often very low.
lifestyle.
Yeah, yeah, often very low IQ, so that they're not smart, stable people. So these are kind of the perfect candidates that they use to and they blackmail these people as well
Yeah.
with that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
Um,
I don't think it's this Cohen guy to be fair. They don't look the same. This doesn't
nah,
look like the
nah.
same guy. So
Mm,
whoever this
mm.
Cohen guy is on Facebook, it's not whoever this dead guy is. So
Yeah,
and
yeah,
the proof is some like mentally ill woman go, I know it's him because I slept with him. Like
yeah,
that's
yeah.
not really good enough evidence, to be fair.
Yeah,
That's
yeah, yeah, yeah. He's a crackhead, not a religious fanatic. Yeah, so
that's not really the good evidence.
yeah, I don't really see this being cleared up, but what
This
what you said about him being involved as an escort, that definitely yeah, that's interesting. But you'd think that if that was the if Joe Colchi had that tattoo, because we can see both arms as he's keeled over there, right? And that
um
photograph.
not
I mean,
not really.
oh yeah, no, you can't.
Yeah,
Yeah, no,
I
you
mean the
can
tattoo
see.
is as like it's above the elbow. So
Yeah,
his
so
head's
maybe
pretty
that.
much right in the way where it would be, and that's obviously the wrong arm. So going, oh, there's no tattoo. That's just it's like, brother,
Yeah,
learn your
totally.
left and rights. That's retarded.
Yeah, yeah, that's silly. Um, yeah, yeah, because this is what they do. This is what they do to gin up support for this kind of stuff. So yeah, yeah. Well, I don't know. Do you have anything else to say about that, or
Oh, I think that's about it. So
yeah?
maybe it is Joe, maybe it isn't, but the media behaving was just bizarre. I think this 4chan schizo stuff seems to be a bit of a dead end, to be fair. So
Mm, mm,
that
mm,
sort of
mm.
doesn't seem to go anywhere. That's probably just like people poisoning the well.
Yeah,
Uh,
but it
so
is still suspicious.
I mean,
It is.
it's more the media, the way the media acted was very suspicious and very strange.
Mm, mm, mm. Yeah, 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 yeah. So I guess that's all we can really say about that right now, guys. Unless you guys have anything more to say. Neither of these photos look like each other. On
Well, I
this
mean, this is
schizo thread.
the top one. So
Yeah,
this is actually the Joe guy, and this is the stabber. I mean, they sort of look the same, I guess.
yeah. I mean,
Headline,
similar.
headlines actually look sort of the same. Yeah, yeah, that sort of
Here.
matches. Hairline
Uh,
matches.
yeah, yeah. I don't know. Look at the. Yeah, I think the face of this guy. Oh, sorry, you can't see my cursor. His face is more skinny and sculpted,
I mean, it could
and
just be the guy lost or gained weight in between photos. I mean, that does happen.
yeah,
So I
yeah,
can't really
true.
say, but I'll say the more suspect thing. I mean, this could be I honestly think that could be him, but
Mm,
I'd say the more
maybe.
suspect thing was just the media reporting, which is odd.
Mm, yeah, 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 yeah. Maybe they were freaking out, like, oh, if this is actually a
Like
Muslim
a
man.
Muslim or a Jew or something, but I guess
Yeah.
maybe they looked into it and found out it wasn't. So then I don't know, maybe they named him. But the 24-hour delay was weird.
Mm, mm,
And
mm,
apparently the Joe guy was actually a male escort as well. So yeah, you do have to
yeah.
be pretty crazy and sort of unhinged to be like a homosexual escort,
Yeah.
like
No.
drug addict, whatever.
Yeah.
You can see why this guy would be off the frickin' rails, really.
Yeah, because they all are like that. Like,
Yeah,
yeah, they're all just weird. That's why nobody wants to be around them, And
yeah,
yeah,
exactly. Um, all right. All right, so just a couple more chats. Jeff Michael says, COVID damaged my brain, guys. I need to sleep or eat some gummies to feel alive. Good stream. All right, thanks for going in chat, I guess.
thanks, man.
And yeah, we've caught up on the YouTube chat. I think that's pretty much it. I mean, we don't have any New Zealand news stories to cover. Nothing's really happened in New Zealand.
Mm, mm.
I mean, do we want to touch reality check radio or not? Or them being, or do you just want to not bother?
Maybe we could touch it another time. I
Yeah, we'll
guess.
touch it another. It's honestly, it's not that important compared to these other two news stories. It's just sort of like reality check radios being sort of cringe, which is sad to see.
Mm,
But we'll see what happens there. Hopefully they like snap out of it. But I don't know.
yeah,
Uh,
hopefully they redeem themselves. Yeah,
yeah.
because they are actually doing some pretty good
Oh,
work.
I agree. They've done some really good work, and now they've decided to go. Oh, we need a whole bunch of money. Woe is me. We need
Mm,
money to keep going. We're not going to do it for free. Blah blah blah. Which I guess I was like, yeah, whatever.
mm,
But I mean, they should have a sustainable business model to report on, reality-based issues, not be based on finance,
mm,
and report the truth. But they're having a whinge that they're not having enough money, so it's sort of like pretty cringy, sort of like a bit silly.
mm,
It's not real, not what you want to see. I'd say it's also sort of like unprofessional as well to just be like begging for money like this and going
mm.
on this like pity tour. But I guess in the grand scheme of things, it's not really that important compared to like potential escalations between Israel and Iran. It is what it is. So I guess
Mm,
we'll just leave it there.
mm.
Thanks for tuning in, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. We'll catch you guys next week. Hopefully, we have some less grim topics to talk about.
Yeah.
But I hope you enjoy it. Have a good weekend, and we will see you next time.
See ya.